Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Environment Today on Africa Independent Television. It is your program where we x-ray environmental and public health issues that confront you and I daily. And we also seek experts' views on how best they can be addressed. My name is Nkoli Omodu, your regular guide on the show. And as usual, I'll be your host throughout the program. But first, let's take you around the world as our custom is to bring you stories that made the rounds in the last 1 week, and we will be back after that. As the sun rises daily, our environment changes. Shall we say human, technology, or our negligence towards the environment caused us a lot of global warming, degradation, or pollution? I'm Nkoli Omodu, journalist, global environmental analyst, and host of Environment Today on AIT. Join me in the environment capital of discussion in Nigeria, Africa, and the world on what is happening in our society, how we can improve our environment culture. I speak to newsmakers, environmentalists, activists, and game changers. The bold moves, big issues, solution topics is all right here. Make Environment Today on AIT your weekly watch.
Which contributes significantly to our GDP.
It's a stakeholders engagement on the National Industrial Decarbonization Program, NIDP, organized by the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, NESRIA, with our partners, Oxitane Africa Investment. Industry leaders and policymakers discussed strategies to achieve a more sustainable industrial sector in Nigeria. Minister of Environment Balarabe Lawal emphasized the critical role of the NIDP, noting that the industrial sector is a significant contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, which drive climate change and environmental degradation.
Through this initiative, we aim to facilitate the adoption of cleaner technologies, promote resource efficiency, and support industries in transitioning towards low-carbon operations.
Other speakers highlighted the need to adopt homegrown, innovative technologies and facilitate access to carbon financing for industries, measures that reduce environmental impacts while supporting Nigeria's 2060 net zero emission target.
It will enable the stakeholders here today to build consensus around a framework and a roadmap that will enable us to develop a carbon credit market.
This agency has the mandate to keep a very cleaner environment. So I think this will go a long way in addressing this issue of decarbonization that is being emitted from our industries.
To the work that is being done by NESRA and to reassure them that as a parliament we are keen about issues to do with environmental sustainability and we're going to be advancing legislations.
We do a lot of baseline studies and research. So what we do mostly is institutional capacity development. So we help in terms of policy formation as well as technical expertise.
The forum also focused on fostering collaboration among stakeholders, strengthening existing environmental regulations and incentives to ensure successful implementation of the NIDP, enhance sustainable industrial growth while aligning with global climate goals.
The Enugu State government in southeast Nigeria has announced plans to introduce laws requiring approval before trees can be cut down in the state. In addition, the government is considering making tree planting a mandatory condition for building a house in Enugu. Governor Peter Mba revealed this during the launch of Enugu's Climate Policy and Action Plan, as well as the Climate Education Manual for schools. He emphasized that the conversation around climate change is no longer about its existence, but about finding effective solutions to addressing its challenges. Represented by his deputy Ifeanyi Osai, the governor stressed that while Enugu State has taken the lead in policy formulation, the government is also committed to implementing concrete measures to restore and green the state.
While listening to Professor Okereke, I had a conversation with Professor Chidebe Ronya, our SS Secretary to Government, on what we can begin to do immediately to set protocols in an attempt to begin to mitigate the effects of climate change. And one of the things we shared while over there was to work with him and our capital territory and our Ministry of Environment to make tree planting a condition precedent to building approval in Enugu State. That for every person who submits a building plan approval, there must be a certain number of trees you must be asked to plant in ratio to your size of land.
Officials say the climate policy serves as a comprehensive roadmap for integrating sustainability into every sector of Enugu's economy, while the action plans gives actionable steps to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions, enhance climate resilience, and foster a robust green economy. The manual aims at equipping the next generation with the knowledge and skills necessary to drive climate solutions.
It saddens me that our wildlife and forests are disappearing, and that Nigeria has become a hub for wildlife trafficking. But together, we can change this story. We can lead our region with stronger laws that prosecute more offenders. Let's create a future where people and wildlife can thrive together. Please report wildlife crime and help make Nigeria a haven for wildlife. Because protecting nature protects us all.
Welcome back. Nigeria has been grappling with the issue of incessant building collapse cases with the attendant loss of lives and property. And this is why every year, Nigerian builders actually make out time to create awareness on the issue of building collapse, the devastating impact it's having on lives and property, and what can be done to address the situation. So this year again, as always, they also trooped to the streets of Lagos, and in different parts of Nigeria, they organized different functions to mark the Builders Week, where they created awareness on issues around building collapse cases and what can be done going forward to stem the tide. So we'll bring you excerpts from the different events that happened on the Builders Day and the Builders Week. A walk through the streets of Lagos by stakeholders in the built environment sector in Nigeria. Their message is clear. The rampant building collapse cases plaguing the nation are preventable. The key? Engaging qualified and registered builders in every stage of construction.
To developers and project owners, the temptation to cut costs by engaging unqualified builders, unqualified professionals, is a dangerous gamble. A certified professional is not an option, it is a necessity. To our fellow professionals, we must uphold the highest standard of integrity, accountability, and continuous learning in discharge of our duty.
It was an activity to mark the 2025 Builders Week, designed to raise awareness on the vital role professional builders play in ensuring strict adherence to building measures and compliance with established regulations to prevent structural failure and attendant loss of lives. At a media engagement after the walk, the builders highlighted several contributing factors to building collapse, emphasizing the need for collaboration with policymakers and stiffer penalties for violators of building code in the country.
Right now, these professionals in private practice are going to be involved in the screening, inspection, and the closing out of building projects in Lagos. And by the time we come here next year, by the special grace of God, we are certain that the figures of building collapse will have gone down drastically.
You will be able to do the right thing, and remember that the certificates, the what you have, your experience is all involved in this, and no private person would like to tarnish his own experience and what he has worked for.
In 2024 alone, Nigeria recorded 47 building collapse cases across 14 states, according to a report by the Building Collapse Prevention Guild, raising the need for everyone to resist the temptation of engaging quacks and cutting corners in building production to stem the tide.
Worried by the increasing rate of building collapse cases in Nigeria and the resultant loss of lives and property, professional builders are again raising awareness on the need for total adherence to building codes and regulations. Largely attributed to the activities of quacks in the construction industry, Nigeria recorded about 47 building collapse cases across 14 states in 2024 alone, according to the report by the Building Collapse Prevention Guild. At an event to commemorate the 2025 Builders' Day in Abuja, professional builders called for the domestication of the National Building Code, which will empower states to implement control measures that ensure compliance with building regulations.
By strictly adhering to building codes, we can prevent structural failures and enhance public trust in the industry. We will have to continue the advocacy. In the urban areas, compliance to all these laws will help us. Regulatory bodies will have to move to inspect most of these buildings at different stages.
While identifying the use of substandard materials, poor structural designs, and lack of proper supervision as key factors contributing to building disasters, the builders stressed the importance of upholding ethical standards and professionalism in construction to mitigate this risk.
If then you have, job that you need to do that has to do with building construction, before you can go ahead with such job, a standard organization will even ask you for the list of professionals, which will include someone like an architect, a builder, an engineer within your organization who will handle the construction of the building. And when it comes to actual physical work at site, that's where a professional builder is required.
This year's Builders' Day theme, Builders, Role in Effective Building Control and Regulatory Compliance for Sustainable Construction, emphasizes the need for professionals to educate all stakeholders on the benefits of adhering to building codes and regulations for safer, more sustainable structures.
All right, a pleasure to have you join us again on Environment Today, and we're speaking with Air Vice Marshal Iyamu Akube, retired. Of course, I call him the climate change expert and environmental encyclopedia. Always really with figures regarding environmental issues. It's a pleasure to have you again on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for your kind words. Yes.
So let's begin with President Trump's stance on environmental issues, particularly climate change. From an environmental expert point of view, let me even hear your reaction to his executive order review us yet again, from Global Treaty of Climate Change.
Yes, thank you for having me. Well, the executive order is an extension of the capitalists. They're trying to overwhelm everybody, so that we all be in chaos, so that they can do what they want to do. What is that executive order? First of all, the main trust. What's the trust you want to do? The trust is that, first of all, he wants to protect the polluters. Not to protect the polluters, then discredit the science about the whole thing and put vulnerable communities in problem. Well, for him, for President Donald Trump, it's a Republican thing. The Republican, they go back in history. You see that the Democrats have always been for the very, very poor people. 1933, the New Deal by Roosevelt. Coming back again to 1961, which is the USAID that everybody is quarreling about. They don't really know what USAID is all about. You see, the problem with Nigeria is that we are so gullible. And when we see a trajectory that takes off from our major problem, everybody latch onto it. You understand? The world is moving with a very fast train, and we are holding on to old coaches. You understand? So the usage is all for another day. They're coming back. The first renewable energy installed in the White House was done by Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter in 1979. When Ronald Reagan came in 1986, he removed them. He removed them. And again, too, Trump in 2017 came. What does he want to do? He wants to, the Paris Agreement is a legal binding document that makes sure that you must do what you must, first of all, be involved in climate financing. You must be involved in the reduction of carbon and a whole lot of things. Why? The question you will not ask is that why is he in a hurry? The biggest polluter, which is China, they have more recent dates than him that they were supposed to meet. Do you understand? So my concern today is climate change the Paris Agreement have come to stay. Climate fighting have a very, very strong history, starting from 1824. 1824, when the people first came out and said, look, there must be something in the atmosphere that is changing the temperature on the ground, and while the thing is coming up. Then the first paper on climate change came in 1896 by a Scottish, Swedish scientist. So it came back to 1970 when you have models. Computer models were first of all being done on it, and going back to 1972 where you have the first summit, the Human Rights Summit. So when you are coming, you come back to 1992 Air Summit and all the Kyoto Protocol and down, and then the biggest one, the Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement was not a document that people came to for convenience. No, it came because we have to regenerate the earth into the next century, and that is whether one man is going to be for it or not. It's not going to do anything. The people that did not sign at that time, well, only 4 countries. Out of them, it's only Iran that were real big polluters. So whether one person is out of it or not, no, he has done a lot for countries. He has scaled up the renewable energy significantly and substantially. Renewable energy is so intertwined with poverty alleviation. Take, for example, the IRA in the USA, Inflation Reduction Act, which President Biden put into place. It was supposed to create renewable energy and also make sure that the poor are also affected. When he came, it's not only the Paris Agreement that he signed, he also blocked the 7 billion renewable energy fund. The contractors cannot access it and everything. So if you go back to history, you find out that it's more of a Republican thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. Okay,
well, you see, the problem now is that everybody knows that the US is the second biggest polluter in the world. And when it comes to climate financing, they've also been one of the biggest contributors, to global finance to be able to help, particularly those in developing countries, deal with climate issues. So this withdrawal, are you saying it will not have any impact, on...
Absolutely not. You see, what he has done now is to say that, look, the people that were depending on all these things before, now you are now on your own. How is he going to do it when he has two of the biggest problems? As he's landing in, he had the biggest fire. The wildfire. And also the biggest flooding now, which is in the southern part of America. So how do you explain that? You see, they didn't allow it echo like the first time in 2017 when he said he was withdrawing. Everybody was running. Like I said before, it's the capitalists. The capitalists want to overwhelm us and set us into chaos. We have people like ExxonMobil making 33.1 billion and Chevron 18.3 billion profits. So you have to keep protecting those. Like I said before, the Paris Agreement is a legal document. So if he is in it, he has to abide by adaptation, mitigation, and climate financing. The climate financing, the Chinese are even doing more.
So what do you think, or what do you suggest again, as always, as what the government should be doing now to avert a repeat of the flooding disaster we had, in the past years, including just last year?
Anytime you ask me this question, you just remind me of what we are as a people. You know, if you look at the documents of the government, we have one of the best documents. Have you seen the Climate Change Act? Climate Change Act, one of the best documents that you can ever find. It can subsist anywhere in the world. But anytime in Nigeria we create documents, but the mistake is that we don't always create people that will actualize these documents. We take this document to primordial sentiments, to religion, to ethnicity and everything. At the end of the day, the whole document is disfigured. It is disfigured. The rains are coming. Yes, early in the year, I warned and I'm still warning now that you are going to have rain and droughts coming together because the El Nino was here. It was here from December and it's about going now. It's going to leave by February. What is it going to do? It's going to create a lot of sunshine around here. You're already seeing it now. So in Abuja, the sun that is supposed to shine for about 1 month, shining in a day. So also the rain that will fall in 6 months will fall in a day. So the preparation has to be much. But my worry is that you look at this year's budget. What's 54.9999? What's there for disaster? No. Every time you see, we have to prepare. It is not when the thing is on us that we continue to run hectare-scatter. I didn't see any line item that substantially prepare for the disaster that we are coming to do. See, preparation for disaster is now part of country's central bank. Say greening the economy. Because when it comes and you are unprepared for it, it disfigures the whole thing, the whole entire system, the whole entire process. See, government is a process and accountability. You see, if you look at what we are doing now, National Orientation Agency, they have been coming out with a lot of sound bites. It is not on when we get to the flooding stage that they start talking. No, they should be talking now, clearing the floodway. In Abuja now, we are building on the wetland, we are building on the floodplain, we are building on everywhere. Anywhere there is land, they just allocate it and people will go and build there. When they go to Guzape and go and see the way they are building there, I see the disaster that other people are having, we pray. But prayer is not enough. You have to work.
There's no other animal as courageous and majestic as the lion. But with only 50 lions left in Nigeria, they may soon just be a memory. When snares are used for bushmeat, we rob the lions of their food and risk maiming them for life. So please say no to illegal bushmeat and help protect the lions. Keep them wild and keep us safe.
Hello, we welcome you to our social media platform for more information about our program Environment Today. On Facebook, you can reach us on Environment Today. On YouTube, subscribe, like, and share every of our episodes on Environment Today. Instagram, it is Environment Today. On Twitter, /Environment Today. And on WhatsApp, you can reach us on +234 8033 356 388. Catch up and do interact with us, and don't miss any of our environmental issues. Like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.
All right, up next is our feedback segment for your views and comments regarding the program. And don't forget to hook up with us on all our social media platforms displaying on your screen. If you also need to send us SMS, the number is there for you to reach us. And we will be there to look at some of the issues you raise, environmental hotspots within your locality. After that, we'll bring you environment quotes for this week. Oh, wow, how time flies. But that's how we'll be wrapping up Environment Today for this week. It's been a pleasure presenting it to you. And I do hope your stay with us was worth your while. Let's do it again same time next week on this same station. Until then, please remember that environment is life. So do your bit, I'll do mine so we can preserve it. From everyone on the Environment Today crew, here's wishing you the very best. Bye for now.